This message is for the awakened Hebrew Israelites and those who are still yet to be awakened to their realization of who they are. The title of this message is this: Yahuwah will preserve and protect those seeking refuge in Him in the day of His wrath. Yes, the God of Israel will preserve and protect those seeking refuge in Him in the day of His wrath. The first scripture we can consider is from Nahum chapter 1 verse 7, and there it is written, Nahum chapter 1 verse 7, Yahuwah is good, a stronghold in the days of distress. He is mindful of those seeking refuge in Him. At Matthew chapter 24 verse 41 and 28, it is written that the Messiah said that two men will be grinding at the handmill. One will be taken along and the other abandoned. At verse 28 is written, wherever the carcass is, there the eagle will be gathered together. At Luke chapter 17 verse 33 to 37, it is written, whoever seeks to keep his life safe will lose it, but whoever loses it will preserve it alive. I tell you, in that night, two people will be in one bed. The one will be taken along, but the other will be abandoned. There will be two women grinding at the same mill. The one will be taken along, but the other will be abandoned. Verse 36, two men will be in the field. One will be taken and the other will be left. So in response they said to him, where are they taken, Lord? Where, Lord? He said to them, where the body is, there also the eagle will be gathered together. So our God knows how to preserve alive the righteous ones, those who are seeking refuge in Him. But the wicked ones, He reserved them for the day of His wrath, His wrath to be poured out on them. And that's what we are going to examine through these lessons, to see how the Most High has always preserved alive those who are righteous, or those who are seeking refuge, protection from Him. A good example we can consider an ancient example at Genesis chapter 6 verse 17 to 22. There it is written, as for me, I am going to bring flood water upon the earth to destroy from under the heavens all flesh that has the breath of life. Everything on the earth will perish. And I am establishing my covenant with you. And you must go into the ark, you and your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And bring into the ark two of every sort of living creatures, in order to preserve them alive with you, a male and female, of the flying creatures according to their kind, the domestic animals according to their kind, and all the creeping animals of the ground according to their kinds. Two of each will go in there to you to preserve them alive. For your part, you are to collect and to take with you every kind of food to eat, to serve as food for you and for the animals. And Noah did according to all that God had commanded him. He did just so. So we can see how the Most High preserved Noah alive, Noah and his family, because they are taking refuge in the Most High God. They are not like the other wicked people who are going their way, not caring about what the Most High, not caring about the Most High. So Noah was preserved from the deluge of ancient world. Lot was preserved from Sodom and Gomorrah. Before a destruction comes, Yah always make a way. So Yah always make the chosen aware and provide them actions in order to preserve them from his wrath. In the first century, let's consider the first century destruction of Jerusalem. At Luke chapter 21 verse 20 to 24, it is written, "However, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by encamped armies, then know that the desolating of her has drawn near. So then let those in Judea begin fleeing to the mountains. Let those in the midst of her leave, and let those in the countryside not enter into her. Because these are the days for meting out justice, in order that all the things written may be fulfilled. Woe to the pregnant woman and those nursing a baby in those days. For there will be great distress on the land and wrath against these people. And they will fall by the edge of the sword and be led captives into all the nations. And Jerusalem will be trampled on by the nations until the appointed times of the nations are fulfilled." At Matthew chapter 23 verse 37 to 39, it is written, "For just as the days of Noah were, so the presence of the Son of Man will be. For as they were in those days before the flood, eating and drinking and men marrying and women being given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And they took no note until the flood came and swept them all away. So the presence of the Son of Man will be." So in the first century, the Messiah taught and proclaimed the judgment and punishment that is to come on the nation of Israel. But before the event occurred, he gave directions of what to do to the chosen righteous people. He told them to flee the location. But the rebels or sinners of the people will ignore the warning and the direction that was given. So in this situation, action is required, and that action is to, when they see Jerusalem surrounded by encamped army, that they should do what? Flee to the mountains, because it is time for the destruction to come. So God has always preserved alive has been those seeking refuge in him, the righteous ones. So what about today? the last days of today. How will God preserve his people alive? Well, consider these things. Matthew chapter 24, verse 33 to 35. The Messiah said, "Likewise also, when you see all these things, know that he is near at the door. Truly I say to you that this generation will by no means pass away until all these things happen. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will by no means pass away. For just as the days of Noah were, so the presence of the Son of Man will be. For as they were in those days before the flood, eating and drinking, men marrying and women being given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and they took no note until the flood came and swept them all away. So the presence of the Son of Man will be." At Matthew chapter So you can see the Messiah also gave us warning and directions of what we need to do. So when you see all these things, when we see all these things happening or start to happen, we should know that we are close to the end of our punishment. So we should stand up straight and be courageous, because our deliverance is near. Deliverance from what? From the punishment that was put upon us, Israel. So we should be patient and endure to the end. At James chapter 5, verse 7 to 9, there is written, "Be patient then, brothers, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer anticipates the precious fruits of the soil as he patiently awaits the fall and the spring rain. So you too be patient and strengthen your hands, your hearts, because the Lord's coming is near." And at Luke chapter 21, verse 23, verse 28, it is written, "But as these things start to occur, stand up straight and lift your heads, because your deliverance is getting near, Israel." So, we are also given directions of what to do in these last days, which is to stand up straight, be courageous, endure until the end, because our deliverance is getting near. But do we need to flee to a location just like it was in the ancient, in the first century? Do we need to flee to a location? Well, consider these scriptures. Hosea chapter 8, verse 8 is written, "Israel is swallowed up. Now she is among the nations, like something no one wants." At Leviticus chapter 26, verse 33, it is written, "And I will scatter you among the nations, and I will unsheath a sword after you, and your land will be made desolate, and your cities will be devastated." At Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 17 is written, "The people of Israel are scattered sheep. Lions have despised them. First the king of Assyria devoured them. Then King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon gnawed on their bones." So you can see that the sheep of the house of Israel is scattered among the nations. So consider, where should we flee to? Should we flee to the west, or should we flee to the north? Should we flee to the south? So since Israel is scattered among the nations, there won't be need to flee to a specific location, since there is the sheep of Israel is scattered among the people. So to which location should we flee to? Consider the Messiah's direction, the direction that the Messiah gave at Matthew 24, verse 23 to 28. There is written, "Then if anyone said to you, 'Look, here is the Christ,' or 'there,' say, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and will perform great signs and wonders, so as to mislead, if possible, even the chosen ones. Say, look, I have forewarned you. Therefore, if people say to you, 'Look, he is in the wilderness,' say, do not go out. Or, 'Look, he is in the inner room,' do not believe it. For just as the lightning comes out of the east and shines over to the west, so the presence of the Son of Man will be. Wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together." So the Messiah didn't want us to have a location for us to flee to. Rather, he said we should not let anybody deceive us by saying he's in the wilderness, or he's over there, or he is over there. No, he said wherever we are, whether you are in Japan, whether you are in Africa, whether you are in America, remain wherever you are and raise your head up. So wherever the carcass is, the eagles will be gathered. Wherever you are, the Most High will find you, and the Most High will preserve you alive on the day of his wrath. So do we need to flee to a location? Consider also, verse 20, Matthew 24, verse 29 to 31. There is written, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heavens will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth will be themselves in grief. They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heavens with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a great trumpet sound, and they will gather his chosen ones together from the four winds, from one extremity of the heavens to the other extremities. So yes, the Messiah said he will send his angels to gather his people from all corners of the earth, because that is where Israel were scattered. So there is no need for Israel to say we're fleeing to this location. We are fleeing to Africa, or we are fleeing to that place. So wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be. Wherever you are, the Most High said he's going to send his angels, and they will gather his chosen people from the one extremity of the heavens to the other. So Israel, our God has always revealed things to the chosen. For example, Amos chapter 3 verse 7, it's written, "The sovereign Lord, Yahuwah, will not do a thing unless he has revealed his confidential matters to his servants the prophets. At Genesis chapter 6, verse 13, it is written, "After that God said to Noah, I have decided to put an end to all flesh, because the earth is full of violence on account of them. So I am bringing them to ruin together with the earth." At Genesis chapter 18, verse 17, it is written, Yahuwah said, "Am I keeping hidden from Abraham what I'm going to do?" At Psalm 25, verse 14, it is written, "Close friendship with Yahuwah belongs to those who fear him, and he makes his covenant known to them." Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9, it's written, "See, the first things have come to pass. Now I am declaring new things. Before they spring up, I tell you about them." Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. It is written. Now Daniel chapter 9, verse 22. It's written, "And he gave me understanding, saying, O Daniel, now I have come to give you insight and understanding." At Revelation chapter 1, verse 1, it's written, "A revelation by Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his slaves the things that must shortly take place. And he sent his angels and presented it in signs through him to his slave John." So these records reveal that God has always revealed his activities to those who fear him, to inform them of what he is doing. But the wicked will not know or understand the activities of our God. So Noah and his family knew that the times and what is really coming. At Genesis chapter 7, verse 4, it is written, "For in just 7 days I will make it rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the surface of the ground every living thing that I have made." So our God revealed the time of what he's doing to Noah. He said, "In 40 days I will make it do what? Rain." In seven days he will make it rain upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. So Noah and his family was made aware of the time and what is really coming. Genesis chapter 6, verse 3 is written, "Then Yahuwah said, My spirit will not tolerate man indefinitely, because he is only flesh. Accordingly, his day will amount to 120 years. Verse 13, "After that God said to Noah, I have decided to put an end to all flesh, because the earth is full of violence on account of them. So I am bringing them to ruin together with the earth." Verse 17, "As for me, I am going to bring flood water upon the earth to destroy from under the heavens all flesh that has the breath of life. Everything on the earth will perish." So you can see that the Most High always reveal the times and what is really coming or what he's doing to those who are his chosen, to those who are seeking refuge in him. He always told them and make them aware in order to preserve them alive. But what about the wicked and sinners? Consider Matthew 24, verse 38 and 39. There it is written, "For as they were in those days before the flood, eating and drinking, men marrying and women being given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and they took no note until the flood came and swept them all away. So the presence of the Son of Man will be." So, if those who are not part of the chosen, those who are not seeking their refuge in the Most High, the God of Israel, they will not know what is coming. Neither will they understand the times that they are living in. But only those who are seeking refuge and seeking the Most High God will be with the ones that will take note. To such ones, He makes known what He is doing and at what time He is going to do it. So Noah and his family were ready because they knew the times and what was about to happen as revealed by their God. But the wicked will pay no attention to the signs or seek understanding of God's activities. So Yahuwah always preserves those who fear Him and follow His revealed directions for preserving them alive. So in conclusion, Israel and all those who are awakening today, seek refuge in Yahuwah, the God of Israel. Humble yourself, and He will reveal His activities to you. For He will always preserve alive and protect those who are seeking refuge in Him in the day of His wrath that is coming.